The unpredictability of nature reveals itself in its astonishing phenomena. Sometimes it presents us with truly surprises that go far beyond the ordinary.
Oh, look at the smoke.
What the fuck?
In this video, I offer you a selection of incredible natural phenomena captured on camera. Enjoy watching. A family in California accidentally recorded a mysterious anomaly after looking out the window of their apartment at night. The footage clearly shows a bright flash in the sky. It appeared seemingly out of nowhere and shimmered in 3 different colors: blue, green, and violet. The phenomenon lasted only a few seconds, yet it still frightened the witnesses. The next morning, the authors of the video contacted local authorities requesting an explanation. However, officials did not confirm the incident despite the existence of the video recording. This led the witnesses to wonder whether the authorities might have been concealing secret military tests. On the 20th of July 2025, residents of Virginia witnessed an impressive celestial phenomenon. Eyewitnesses filmed shimmering objects of various colors appearing among the clouds, as if someone had hung a string of lights across the sky. The anomaly resembled a magical light show. The phenomenon lasted about 20 minutes and left locals speculating about what might have been hidden behind the clouds. Later, scientists suggested that the phenomenon could have been related to sunlight reflecting off high-altitude nacreous clouds. However, eyewitnesses insisted that the shimmering differed from typical atmospheric phenomena, and even speculated that an alien spacecraft might have been concealed behind the cloud. Residents of several Canadian cities witnessed an unusual anomaly in the night sky. Eyewitnesses reported seeing 2 glowing spheres. One emitted a bright green light, while the other shone with a deep violet color. The strange objects behaved unpredictably. At times, they moved closer together and seemed to merge into a single entity, then drifted apart again. The objects also periodically emerged from behind the clouds and then disappeared behind them once more. After a few minutes, the spheres suddenly vanished without leaving any trace. At first, many assumed they had witnessed a rare form of the Northern Lights. However, experts dismissed this theory, noting that this natural phenomenon does not take the shape of clearly defined spheres and does not display such a dance. In the Argentine city of Cordoba, local residents were shocked when they saw unusual clouds in the sky. Dense and heavy formations attracted attention with their strange shape. Eyewitnesses described them differently. Some compared the clouds to snowballs neatly lined up in a row, while others likened them to heavy sacks hanging from the sky and slightly drooping downward. When the video of this phenomenon gained many views, experts explained that the observed clouds belong to a rare type known as mammatus. Such formations develop beneath thunderstorm clouds and indeed resemble hanging pouches or bulges. Although this phenomenon may appear frightening, mammatus clouds themselves pose no threat. They are simply an interesting atmospheric phenomenon that occurs under certain weather conditions. In recent years, reports of mysterious sounds coming from the sky have been recorded all over the world. Strange acoustic phenomena resembling humming or the prolonged tones of enormous trumpets have been noted in dozens of regions. Recently, the anomaly was recorded in 2 major cities at once, first by residents of Sydney and then by residents of Brooklyn. In both cases, people reported eerie sounds, as if someone in the heavens were sending a signal. Witnesses described feelings of anxiety and even fear. According to them, the hum lasted for several minutes and then suddenly stopped. The sound anomaly quickly attracted the attention of the online community. Many linked it to biblical stories, in particular to the prophecy of 7 angels with trumpets announcing future events. Scientists have still been unable to provide a definitive explanation for this phenomenon. The author of this video stepped outside at night and accidentally captured a remarkable celestial phenomenon on camera. The footage shows a huge glowing sphere rapidly falling from the sky. After a few seconds, the sphere exploded, lighting up the sky with a bright flash. The video instantly spread across the internet and became the subject of active discussion. Later, specialists confirmed that the recording captured an asteroid that disintegrated upon entering Earth's atmosphere. According to astronomers, the celestial body was relatively small and completely burned up in the atmosphere without reaching the planet's surface. Such events occur very often, but people rarely manage to record them in such detail. On the 8th of April, 2024, visitors to one of Mexico's beaches witnessed a rare and mesmerizing natural phenomenon, a total solar eclipse. Before the astonished onlookers, the sky gradually darkened, and the solar disk completely disappeared behind the moon, leaving only a glowing corona around the dark circle. The sight appeared both frightening and awe-inspiring at the same time. A solar eclipse occurs when the moon moves precisely between the Earth and the Sun, casting its shadow on the surface of our planet. A total eclipse can be observed only within a limited area, and these people were fortunate to be in the right place at the right time. In the Atacama Desert in Chile, an astonishing natural phenomenon known as the blooming desert occurred. This desert is considered one of the driest places on Earth, where rainfall is extremely rare. However, this time the Atacama was transformed. Its barren lands were covered with a bright carpet of purple and white flowers. It looked highly unusual and almost surreal. As it turned out, the cause of the phenomenon was rare but abundant rainfall that arrived along with the climatic event known as El Niño. In some areas, up to 60 millimeters of precipitation fell over a couple of months, although the average annual amount in this region is only 2 millimeters. The rains, moderate warmth, and sunlight allowed plant seeds that had waited many years for suitable conditions to sprout. Blooming in the Atacama occurs approximately once every 5 to 7 years. This event attracts many tourists and photographers and also plays an important role in the desert's ecosystem, supporting biodiversity in extreme conditions. On the 12th of May 2025, residents of Western Australia witnessed an impressive astronomical phenomenon. A bright green meteor streaked across the night sky. Many people managed to record it on their smartphone cameras, and the footage quickly spread across social media. Because of its unusual color, many users assumed it might have been a UFO. However, astronomers clarified that witnesses had actually seen a bolide, an especially large meteor that shines brightly and leaves a noticeable trail but completely burns up in the atmosphere without reaching Earth's surface. Scientists explained the striking green color by the object's chemical composition. Most likely, the meteor contained nickel or magnesium. These elements produce such a glow when burning in the atmosphere. Astronomers also suggested that the bolide may have been part of the Ite Aquariids meteor shower. This meteor shower is active from the 19th of April to the 28th of May. However, it is also possible that the meteor was a solitary one and not connected to the shower at all. During a severe thunderstorm near Rich Valley in the Canadian province of Alberta, a couple, Ed and Melinda Purdy, witnessed a rare atmospheric phenomenon and managed to capture it on video. According to the pair, on the 2nd of July at around 1900 hours, they stepped into their backyard to watch the storm. After a powerful lightning strike, they noticed an unusual object in the sky, a glowing sphere about 2 meters in diameter. It hovered approximately 6 meters above the ground and remained in the air for about 20 seconds before suddenly disappearing with a sound resembling a pop. The couple recorded the phenomenon and posted the video on social media. As it turned out, they had witnessed ball lightning, a rare atmospheric phenomenon. According to various estimates, the probability of seeing it at least once in a lifetime is only 0.01%. So the couple was indeed fortunate to witness this extraordinary event. Several years ago, residents of the French city of Orange faced an unpleasant surprise from nature, an invasion of nocturnal moths. At first, people noticed only small clusters of butterflies around streetlights, but within a couple of days, their numbers increased hundreds of times. However, the situation soon changed dramatically. The moths began covering buildings and shop windows, interfering with drivers and damaging plants. The insects also entered houses and other premises, forcing many cafes and shops to reduce their working hours. Fortunately, the authorities responded to the incident very quickly. It was decided to temporarily turn off streetlights and install light traps with insecticides. The fight against the insects proved successful, and the residents returned to their normal lives. On the 26th of June 2025, a mud volcano eruption occurred in southern Taiwan. The Wandan mud volcano, located near the Huangyuan Temple, became active. The natural phenomenon began early in the morning at around 5 o'clock local time and lasted almost 11 hours. During the eruption, the ground split into 4 separate cracks, from which powerful streams of thick, bubbling mud mixed with methane poured out. The muddy masses moved at high speed and threatened agricultural land located near the epicenter of the eruption. Interestingly, this was far from the first case of volcanic activity. Over the past 3 years, it has awakened 10 times. Off the coast of the Chilean island of Mocha, a tourist witnessed flames burning directly on the ocean's surface. Footage of this unusual phenomenon quickly spread across social media and sparked widespread discussion. Among the commentators were experts who clarified the situation. According to them, the phenomenon was caused by methane being released from the seabed. The gas seeps through cracks in the ocean floor, rises to the surface, and can ignite upon contact with a spark. Interestingly, such occurrences, although rare, are not unique to Mocha Island. Residents of the Russian peninsula of Kamchatka witnessed an astonishing natural phenomenon, which some managed to capture on camera. During sunset, people saw huge dark whirlwinds forming in the sky. Only later did it become clear that these tornado-like formations consisted of colonies of mosquitoes. There were so many mosquitoes that their swarms blocked out the sunlight. The insect colonies moved in a coordinated manner, giving the whirlwinds a realistic appearance. The phenomenon was observed for 2 days. Experts attempted to explain this unusual occurrence. In their opinion, the cause was the insect's mating season. During such periods, male mosquitoes gather in large swarms and circle around females, forming massive clusters. This behavior strategy is typical for several mosquito species and sometimes results in the formation of so-called mosquito tornadoes. Residents of Saudi Arabia witnessed an unusual natural phenomenon. In one of the country's desert regions, a powerful bubbling fountain of clear water suddenly emerged. Local residents who saw the phenomenon with their own eyes were extremely surprised, since the appearance of a water source in an arid area is very rare. According to eyewitnesses, the flow of water was so strong that shortly after the fountain appeared, streams began forming around it. Within a few hours, they merged and turned into small rivers, carving their way through the sandy landscape. Experts believe that the cause of this phenomenon may have been a change in the hydrological regime. Prolonged or intense rainfall in neighboring regions could have led to the overflow of underground reservoirs and their emergence at the surface in this location. On the 21st of August 2025, residents of China's Sichuan province saw an incredible cluster of white silk cocoons of mulberry silkworms in a forest. Eyewitnesses were very surprised, as silkworms are considered fully domesticated. Since ancient times, China has been renowned for the art of producing precious silk, a craft based on the meticulous work of tiny caterpillars. Each individual can create a cocoon from a single silk thread whose length exceeds 1 kilometer. Today, most silkworms are indeed kept on specialized farms, but wild relatives of domesticated insects still survive in the forests of Sichuan. What exactly triggered such a sharp population increase remains a mystery. A resident of Vancouver witnessed a mysterious celestial phenomenon. The man was filming the night sky when an unusual object appeared in the frame. A glowing purple sphere suddenly emerged high above. It moved vertically, as if rising upward from beyond the horizon. The object gained altitude for a couple of seconds, and then, upon reaching a certain point, suddenly exploded. At the moment of the explosion, it broke into several bright glowing fragments that briefly froze in the sky before quickly fading. Within moments, everything disappeared without a trace. The eyewitness posted the video of this mysterious sighting online, but no one was able to explain what it was. A man was simply walking through the forest when one of the trees caught his attention. Its branches were covered with white, fluffy formations resembling cotton. Upon closer inspection, it turned out to be colonies of woolly aphids. This species of aphid, also known as the apple blood aphid, covers itself with waxy threads that create the effect of a fluffy white coating. It is this coating that gives the impression of cotton. The insects settle in colonies on branches and trunks, most often affecting apple trees, but they can also be found on other deciduous trees. Woolly aphids are dangerous to plants. By sucking sap, they weaken the tree, slow its growth, and can lead to the drying of branches. In addition, the honeydew secreted by aphids attracts sooty fungi that impair photosynthesis. In March 2025, residents of southern Florida observed a blood moon. This unusual coloration appears during a total lunar eclipse. The reason for the color is that sunlight passes through Earth's atmosphere and becomes scattered. As a result, mainly red and orange wavelengths reach the moon. The eclipse began on the evening of the 13th of March and continued into the night of the 14th of March. The total phase, when the entire disk of the moon was in Earth's shadow, lasted about 65 minutes. It was the first total lunar eclipse since November 2022. In the desert regions of Morocco, tourists and local residents witnessed a rare natural phenomenon known as the singing sands. During this phenomenon, a sound effect arises that resembles humming or a fairy tale melody. Scientists explain that singing sands occur when grains of sand begin to move down the slope of a dune. This movement creates an avalanche, and as the grains collide with one another, they vibrate. These vibrations generate sound waves. For the sandy melody to appear, special conditions are required. The grains must be round, nearly uniform in size, and well dried. The phenomenon is most often observed after strong winds or while walking on a dune. The sound can last from several seconds to a couple of minutes and can be heard at a considerable distance. Interestingly, as early as the 8th century, the traveler Marco Polo mentioned the singing sands in his travel notes about Asia, describing them as the voices of desert spirits. In January 2025, residents of the Russian settlement of Sheregesh in the Kemerovo region discovered a gigantic sinkhole. The diameter of the collapse reaches 15 meters, and its depth is about 8 meters. Witnesses immediately reported the discovery to the administration, and specialists were dispatched to the site. According to preliminary data, the formation of the sinkhole may have been caused by underground karst processes or soil erosion due to heavy rainfall. The area around the collapse has been cordoned off to eliminate the risk of accidents, but local residents remain concerned, as this is already the third sinkhole that has formed in the vicinity of the settlement. A resident of Istanbul who was filming a thunderstorm suddenly noticed a terrifying shadow among the clouds. Its outline resembled the face of a demon with a broad forehead, deep eye sockets, a large nose, and a pronounced chin. When the man posted the video online, it turned out that he was not the only one who had seen this strange silhouette. Many eyewitnesses confirmed that the demon's face was indeed clearly visible in the clouds. People's reactions were intense. Many felt fear and decided that the appearance of this silhouette was a warning of impending trouble or even catastrophe. However, scientists believe it was simply an illusion. Drivers traveling along the highway in the evening witnessed a fantastic sunset that will remain in their memories for a long time. At that moment, numerous small clouds filled the sky, and each of them was illuminated from within by the orange rays of the setting sun. The sight amazed witnesses with its beauty. Some compared the phenomenon to a fire spreading across the sky, while others noted that the clouds, pierced by sunlight, resembled scattered gold. Many drivers stopped to capture the unique moment on their smartphone cameras. Photographs and short videos quickly spread across social media, causing a wave of enthusiastic comments. The author of this video captured a very unusual cloud. It was dense and elongated in shape. Under the rays of the setting sun, it turned rich shades of orange and red. These colors gave the cloud a special beauty, while its clear contours and thick structure created a striking resemblance to a cosmic body suspended in the sky before falling to Earth. The video quickly spread across social media and attracted the attention of thousands of users. In the comments, experts explained that such expressive cloud formations arise from a combination of various factors, including strong winds and sharp temperature fluctuations. Each such cloud is unique and looks fantastic, but seeing something like this is not common, so it can be said that the author of the video was very lucky. During a trekking trip in the Indian Himalayas, travelers noticed that a crack suddenly formed in the rock, from which a powerful fountain of water burst out. Eyewitnesses promptly recorded what was happening and posted the footage online. Many viewers suggested that the tourists had witnessed a rare natural phenomenon, the birth of a geyser. Such phenomena occur when underground waters heated by magma under high pressure find their way to the surface through fractures. A couple from California witnessed a mysterious phenomenon on their way home, which they managed to capture on camera. Late in the evening, as they were driving along the highway, they noticed a black smoke ring in the night sky. It appeared clear and dense and moved slowly, as if tracking the motion of the cars. The ring remained in the air for several minutes, smoothly changing altitude while maintaining its shape, and then suddenly disappeared without a trace. At first, the couple assumed that a fire had broken out somewhere nearby, but there were no signs of flames. Where this black ring came from remains a mystery. In the Indian city of Pune, along the banks of the Mula River, local residents witnessed a rare natural phenomenon. Twisting columns of insects appeared in the sky above the water. They resembled living tornadoes or strange smoky whirlwinds. The dark funnels would grow in size and then disperse. Eyewitnesses managed to record the phenomenon on video. Some viewers even refused to believe that these were swarms of insects and proposed their own explanations for what had happened. However, experts who studied the recordings were able to provide a scientific explanation. According to them, the growth of the mosquito population was caused by stagnant water in the river, while the formation of the unusual tornado-like structures was due to the insects' behavior during their mating season. Despite the scientific explanation, the spectacle still seems fantastic. It is hard to believe that nature is capable of creating such impressive living tornadoes. In this footage, you see an incident that occurred on the 2nd of July 2021. On that day, off the coast of the city of Ciudad del Carmen in the Mexican state of Campeche, a fire broke out on an underwater gas pipeline near the Cu-Charlie offshore platform. The cause of the blaze was a gas leak from a pipeline laid at a depth of 78 meters. According to the Mexican state oil company Pemex, the accident happened due to a malfunction of a regulating valve between the platforms. The bright orange flames that burst from beneath the water created an incredible sight. The fiery patch in the middle of the sea resembled molten lava. Because of its unusual shape, the flames were nicknamed the Eye of Fire. The fire raged for about 5 hours. 3 firefighting vessels were deployed to extinguish it, using nitrogen to put out the flames. Although the incident looked frightening, no one was injured, there was no oil spill, and production at the facility resumed as normal after the fire was extinguished. In recent years, locust swarms have become a large-scale global problem. Countries in Africa, Asia, the Middle East, and even Europe have suffered from insect attacks. The situation was especially difficult in Madagascar in the year 2013, when the island was hit by a massive invasion of the Malagasy migratory locust. This disaster went down in history as one of the most serious natural catastrophes on the island. Swarms of insects spread across vast territories, mercilessly destroying crops and pastures. The damage was truly catastrophic. The locusts affected more than 450,000 hectares of agricultural land, and the losses amounted to millions of dollars. By the year 2019, thanks to international efforts, the situation in Madagascar was partially stabilized. The United Nations allocated more than $41 million to combat the locusts, helping to mitigate the consequences of the disaster. However, despite the progress achieved, the threat of new invasions remains relevant. Scientists explain this problem by pointing to drastic changes in regional weather conditions, which are almost impossible to control. On the 23rd of July 2024, a hydrothermal explosion occurred in Yellowstone National Park in the Biscuit Basin area. The incident happened at approximately 10:19 local time near Sapphire Pool. Park visitors witnessed a massive fountain of steam, boiling water, and rocks erupt from the ground with a thunderous roar. A cloud of steam and debris rose to a height of about 180 meters, while rocks were scattered several meters around. Tourists nearby were terrified and ran away, trying to avoid the falling debris. Fortunately, no one was injured. After the incident, park staff promptly closed the Biscuit Basin area to visitors to ensure safety. Scientists explained that the explosion was caused by a blockage in a passage within the geothermal system. This led to a sudden increase in pressure and the conversion of water into steam. The event was not related to volcanic activity. A resident of the state of Utah went for a walk with his dog in a nearby forest. At first, nothing unusual happened, but at some point the man witnessed a surprising and unsettling anomaly. Before his eyes, the surface of the ground began to rise and fall rhythmically, as if it were not solid soil but a blanket. Along with the ground, the trees began to sway as though they were about to fall. The eyewitness quickly recorded what was happening and posted the footage online. The video rapidly spread across social media, attracting attention from both ordinary users and specialists. According to preliminary data, the ground oscillations may have been caused by localized underground processes. On the 11th of November 2024, a mud volcano erupted in Colombia near the town of San Jose de Mulatos. According to the Colombian Geological Service, the eruption was accompanied by the release of a huge amount of mud and the ignition of methane. The last time this volcano had erupted was 10 years earlier. Unlike classic volcanoes that eject lava and magma, mud volcanoes usually do not cause serious damage to the ecosystem. However, in this case, there was still danger. For this reason, regional authorities evacuated 109 families from homes located near the volcano. No serious injuries were reported, although several children were hospitalized due to inhaling dangerous fumes. In recent years, cases of water turning red have been observed in various parts of the world. Although this may look frightening, each phenomenon has a scientific explanation. In November 2023, a video of a red Nile circulated on social media, but it was later revealed that the footage had actually been filmed in Chile at Laguna Roja, where the water turned scarlet due to microalgae. At the same time, the Nile itself does sometimes take on a reddish-burgundy shade. This happens in autumn when water levels rise and Nile silt enters the river, coloring the water. In Peru, in the province of Cusco, there is also a river that turns bright red during the rainy season. This phenomenon occurs due to iron oxide and other minerals washed down from the surrounding slopes of the Andes. In December 2025, the coastal waters near Iran's Hormuz Island also turned red. This was related to the characteristics of the local soil and its reaction to heavy rains. Despite scientific explanations, these events caused concern among some people who feared the approaching end of the world. In July 2021, an unusual natural phenomenon occurred in the state of Haryana in northern India. A local resident named Jagat Vani, together with his friends, filmed how a huge section of land that had been underwater began to rise and crack. The man posted the video on his social media page, and it quickly went viral, gaining more than 4 million views. Users suggested several possible explanations. Some believe the phenomenon may have resulted from tectonic or volcanic activity. Others think the soil rose after the release of methane accumulated underground, while another theory suggests it may have been caused by a leak or blockage in an underground gas pipeline in that area. An experienced photographer traveled to the highlands of Tibet to capture a thunderstorm. He hoped to photograph powerful lightning strikes, but nature had a different surprise in store. Instead of ordinary lightning, he captured something much rarer and more mysterious, a red flash that appeared high above the storm clouds. It turned out to be a red sprite, a rare phenomenon from the mesosphere that appears at an altitude of 50 to 90 kilometers above intense thunderstorms. Its red glow is produced by nitrogen molecules excited by an electrical discharge following a very powerful lightning strike. For a long time, such flashes were considered a myth until they were first recorded on camera in the year 1989. During a journey through a desert area in Saudi Arabia, tourists witnessed a rare and impressive natural phenomenon. According to eyewitnesses, the sand began to move before their eyes, as if something were trying to emerge from beneath it, and then suddenly collapsed inward. After that, a small crater formed from which flames burst out. It looked as if a portal to hell had opened in the desert, and a demon or evil spirit was about to appear. However, the witnesses tend to favor a simpler explanation. In their opinion, the phenomenon may have been caused by the release and ignition of natural gas accumulated beneath the surface of the sand. These shots were filmed in the Canadian city of Toronto. Late in the evening, a man was walking home with friends when his attention was drawn to a strange phenomenon in the sky. It consisted of 3 glowing lights hovering motionless in the air. Their arrangement relative to one another gave the impression that the lights belonged to a triangular-shaped aircraft silently floating above the city. The friends watched the lights for some time, trying to understand their origin, but eventually gave up and left. After that night, the strange lights never appeared again, and no one ever learned what they truly were. While exploring a desolate area in Alaska, a man unexpectedly came across a unique phenomenon. Right in the middle of the barren plain, a strange glowing object was hovering. Although it had no clear shape, its flickering drew attention, as if the object were continuously studying the surrounding space. Fascinated, the man stood frozen for a while, watching this mysterious phenomenon. However, the longer he observed it, the stranger everything around him seemed. The air surrounding the object felt charged with energy, creating a sense of otherworldly presence. Eventually, the man decided that leaving the area would be the wiser choice, and many viewers agreed that it was a sensible decision. Almost everyone has at some point witnessed flocks of birds forming unusual shapes. However, on one evening in the sky over Hawaii, local residents observed an extraordinary phenomenon. Flocks of birds flew in perfect synchronization and then formed a shape in the sky that appeared too deliberate to be random. From the side, it looked as though the birds were transmitting a secret message or signal. People watched them in awe, but no one could understand what the birds were trying to convey. For a long time, this unusual natural phenomenon remained a mystery and was shrouded in mysticism. However, scientists eventually shed light on this collective behavior of birds. The synchronized flight of huge flocks forming intricate patterns is known as murmuration. Such formations allow birds not only to share aerodynamic airflows and thus conserve energy during flight, but also to protect themselves from predators. Sometimes various incidents occur during repair and construction work, but what was captured in these shots defies common sense. Construction workers were stunned when a massive pipe suddenly began moving on its own. It violently struck the ground and writhed, creating the impression that it truly possessed a mind of its own. The scene looked so mystical that none of the workers dared to approach the strange object. They stood in complete confusion, trying to make sense of what was happening, yet none of them could explain these unusual movements. These mysterious images were captured by surveillance cameras in Alabama and quickly attracted public attention. They show a vertical glowing object hovering above the roadway. At the same time, the source of the light remained invisible, adding intrigue to an already mysterious phenomenon. Viewers' opinions were divided. Some believed it was merely an optical illusion caused by light reflections or glare, while others doubted the object's natural origin, suggesting it might have been something far more unusual. The way the object remained motionless in one place while emitting a bluish glow truly gave rise to thoughts of a supernatural origin. However, even after careful analysis of the footage, the cause of the glow could not be determined. This mysterious video was recorded along the coast of Florida and quickly drew the attention of both local residents and enthusiasts of anomalous phenomena. The footage clearly shows a glowing blue sphere suddenly appearing in the darkness of the night. The anomaly emerged silently and seemed to come out of nowhere. For some time, this cluster of light remained motionless, creating an atmosphere of mystery, and then slowly began to move over the surface of the water. Observers were both fascinated and frightened by the spectacle. Despite all attempts to determine the nature of this light, no one was able to establish whether it was of natural or artificial origin, or what its source might have been. These shots captured a unique phenomenon. While walking through deep snow, a man noticed that the snow beneath his feet seemed to ignite. At first glance, it appeared that each step produced a spark that then turned into tongues of flame. However, a scientific explanation was found for this footage. Gases such as methane can accumulate in layers of frozen ground. When released and exposed to oxygen, the gas ignites, producing heat, water, and carbon dioxide. Most likely, this rare phenomenon was exactly what was captured in these images. These shots were filmed in a northeastern province of China. Local residents watched the sky in astonishment as suddenly two celestial bodies were shining at once. Many mistakenly thought it was a rare cosmic phenomenon or the result of an unknown experiment, but researchers provided a precise explanation for what was observed. They quickly determined that the video showed a parhelion, a rare atmospheric phenomenon in which additional light suns appear around the sun. A perihelion is one type of halo and looks like bright light spots on either side of the sun, often with irregular shapes. This phenomenon occurs due to the refraction of sunlight in ice crystals that form in thin cirrostratus and other clouds. For a perihelion to form, most ice crystals must have a correct shape in the form of hexagonal prisms. This does not happen often, which is why perhelions can be observed quite rarely, and mainly in northern latitudes. These enigmatic shots were filmed during a tourist trip in Arizona. They show a warm, golden light spreading along one side of the horizon, resembling a sunset. However, the same light appeared above the mountains on the opposite side as well. Remarkably, the real sun had already set by that time. The mysterious glow symmetrically illuminated the sky in two areas at once. This created a surreal, almost otherworldly scene. The nature of this rare phenomenon remained a mystery to the observers, and the strange glow never appeared again in those places. The author of this recording chose to remain anonymous. The footage clearly shows a strange blue light racing across the sky. After these bright flashes, something resembling a portal began to form in the upper left corner of the screen. Some suggested that the footage captured the results of an unknown experiment being conducted nearby. Others were firmly convinced that they had witnessed the opening of a tunnel into another dimension. These shots were taken by a random tourist who was camping in the forest. When he woke up in the morning, he noticed that the ground beneath his feet was covered with strange crescent-shaped shadows forming intricate patterns. For the first moments, these shadows were completely motionless, but then they began to move synchronously. The man recorded this phenomenon on camera and asked viewers to suggest in the comments what it might have been. However, no one was able to provide a clear explanation. One evening, a mysterious vertical column of light appeared in the sky over Japan. For the first few seconds, it resembled lightning, but soon a concentrated cluster of light formed at its end. This bright object rushed downward at tremendous speed, yet to the observer's surprise, it didn't collide with the ground. Instead, it sharply changed its trajectory, soared back upward, and vanished into the night sky. Some eyewitnesses suggested that it was a rare atmospheric phenomenon or an optical illusion, while others spoke of a supernatural origin. Despite numerous versions and theories, the true nature of this mysterious light has never been uncovered, leaving people bewildered and sparking countless discussions. These shots were filmed at night on the coast of Turkey. They captured the moment when two bright glowing streaks appeared in the sky. One light blue and the other bright white. To the eyewitnesses, it seemed as though otherworldly beings were flying above the land. However, no one present on the beach could say for certain what it was. Some assumed it was a rocket launch into orbit, while others believed they had witnessed alien spacecraft. Despite the general excitement, no official explanation followed, and the mystery of the celestial objects remained unsolved. In 2023, in the middle of the night, residents of one of the Swiss cantons witnessed an unusual celestial phenomenon that they managed to record on camera. A funnel resembling a portal appeared above their heads. It looked like a gravitational anomaly. Nearby clouds were drawn toward its center, and the edges periodically flashed with blue lights. The residents, who had never seen anything like it before, were gripped by panic. They froze in anticipation, not understanding what was happening. It seemed as though a spacecraft might emerge from the portal, but after a few seconds, it disappeared as suddenly as it had appeared. No traces were left in the sky, yet the feeling of unease lingered for a long time. Some suggested it was a powerful cloud vortex. At the same time, enthusiasts of the supernatural claimed that a tunnel to another dimension had opened in the sky over Switzerland. Opinions were divided, and the question of the phenomenon's nature remains open. These images captured an unusual phenomenon in the night sky. In the darkness, bright lights flickered, casting large shadows on the ground. The geometrically precise shapes of the lights created a sense of mystery and evoked thoughts of an unusual origin. Local residents had never seen anything like this before. The event sparked widespread discussion and gave rise to various mystical theories about the nature of this atmospheric phenomenon. People wondered what could have caused such lights and what secrets they might conceal. During a night fishing trip, a man noticed a unique phenomenon in the water. As he cast his line, he saw strange silhouettes moving beneath the surface, illuminated by a bright blue glow. At first he was confused and even thought something mysterious was happening in the depths. However, upon closer inspection, he realized they were bottlenose dolphins swimming in bioluminescent water. This phenomenon is connected to the life cycle of plankton. During the day, these microorganisms descend to deeper waters to avoid bright light and predators, and at night they rise to the surface for photosynthesis and feeding. When disturbed by waves or the movement of fish, they emit a vivid neon blue glow, creating a magical, almost otherworldly spectacle. These shots show an unusual glow in the night sky over Florida. It was so bright that it felt as though daylight had arrived. The source of the light was a mysterious sphere suspended in the air. Yet it was not only the intensity of the glow that stood out. The cameraman later admitted that during the filming, he felt extremely uncomfortable at the location and could not shake the feeling that something was wrong. Soon the glow spread even wider across the sky and then dissipated without a trace. Some viewers claimed the man had witnessed a rare atmospheric phenomenon, while others were convinced it was something supernatural. In 2025, residents of Alabama witnessed a striking spectacle in the night sky. The sky over the state was illuminated by a brilliant glow, and at first people assumed it was simply glowing clouds. However, the luminous object in the sky not only grew in size, but also began to take on the outline of a human figure. Some viewers saw the silhouette as resembling Jesus Christ and interpreted it as a divine sign, while others believed it was a message from another world. Despite all the proposed theories, no one was able to explain what this mesmerizing light display truly was. While returning home from work, a man noticed something truly incredible in the sky. A massive object, seemingly created using technologies unknown to modern science, was flying directly toward him. It was enormous in size and emitted a bright glow. The sight was breathtaking. For a moment, the man feared he might be seized and taken aboard, but the craft gracefully passed by and disappeared into the night sky. These shots from Taiwan captured a rare phenomenon known as a rain boundary. This optical effect can be observed in windless conditions during heavy rainfall. In such moments, it feels as though one is seeing the boundary between two worlds, one of which is separated by a wall of rain. The man who witnessed this unique phenomenon recorded it on his camera. The video clearly shows that one half of his window remains completely dry, while water streams down the other pane. This contrast created the impression that nature had divided the space into two parts, each living its own separate life. While walking through a forest, a man encountered an unusual phenomenon. Along the railway tracks, a spherical blue glow was moving slowly. The mysterious anomaly emitted lightning as it moved, and the air around it could clearly be seen trembling. It looked as though it were a cluster of pure energy. The man kept his distance from the object and followed its movement. The flickering sphere slowly passed over the rails and continued toward the forest. Viewers' opinions were divided. Some doubted the authenticity of the footage, others saw an optical illusion and a play of light. However, there were also those who believed the man had witnessed a genuine ball lightning phenomenon. In May 2023, a family from Las Vegas witnessed something strange fall from the sky into their backyard. After a bright, glowing object crashed down, the couple claimed that they saw the silhouettes of two tall, strange beings at the impact site. When the police arrived, there were no signs of extraterrestrial beings present. However, the glowing objects captured on camera stirred public interest and sparked widespread discussion in both the media and on social networks. On the 26th of June 2025, a celestial body weighing 23 grams pierced the roof of a private home in the American city of McDonough in the state of Georgia. The homeowner was inside at the time and was located only 5 meters from the impact site. According to him, despite wearing headphones, the fall felt like a rifle shot. The cosmic fragment not only punched straight through the ceiling of the house, but also left a deep dent in the floor. Only 2 months later, cosmogeologist Scott Harris from the University of Georgia determined that the meteorite was older than our planet, having formed 4.5 billion years ago, and that it originally belonged to the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. Scientists concluded that it was formed during the breakup of a large asteroid 470 million years ago, and its value was estimated at $50,000. A married couple managed to capture a strange phenomenon in the evening sky. An unknown object was slowly descending toward the ground, leaving behind a dark trail of smoke. The outlines of the object were almost impossible to discern. It seemed to change shape during its fall, making it nearly impossible to determine whether it was an airplane, a satellite, or a meteorite. The mysterious object landed far beyond the horizon and disappeared without a trace. Despite all the theories put forward, no one was able to explain what this phenomenon actually was or where the true impact site of the unknown object might have been. Astoria Borealis was an industrial accident that occurred on the 27th of December 2018 at a Con Edison substation in Astoria, in the Queens borough of New York City. During the incident, a device with a potential of a coupling capacitor rated at 138,000 volts failed, leading to a massive arc flash that illuminated the sky with a blue-green spectacle visible for many kilometers around, reaching as far as New Jersey. Fortunately, there were no fatalities or injuries during the incident. The accident received the humorous name Astoria Borealis due to its resemblance to the Northern Lights. The event was widely covered on social media, and LaGuardia Airport was temporarily shut down due to a power outage. In 2016, at the territory of Disney World, a man noticed a strange phenomenon in the sky above the attractions. At first, he thought it was smoke rising into the air. However, upon closer inspection, he realized it was a perfectly even black ring silently hovering in the sky. It seemed as though the strange object was intently observing everything happening below. The eerie shape remained suspended in the air for some time, causing concern among amusement park visitors. Some claimed it was a portal, while others believed they were witnessing a real UFO. However, the mysterious object never revealed its secret and vanished into the sky just as suddenly as it had appeared. During a flight, a passenger noticed an unusual phenomenon through the airplane window. White smoke rising from a chimney met with the clouds, creating a mesmerizing optical illusion. It appeared as though the clouds below were the result of deliberate human creation. Each cloud seemed like part of some grand design, prompting the observer to wonder who their creators might have been and for what purpose they were made. These shots were recorded by a surveillance camera on the territory of a Mexican farm. Deep in the night, a dim, bluish spherical light suddenly appeared in the middle of a field. After a few seconds, it flared brightly and vanished without a trace. After witnessing this, the farm owner carefully inspected the surroundings and kept watch on the farm for several nights. However, this did not help him find any clues or explanations for the origin of the mysterious light. During the construction of an underground tunnel in the Colombian city of Medellin, a strange incident occurred. The footage shows that a few meters away from the worksite, a section of the road began to rise and vibrate. It seemed as though a mysterious force beneath the ground was trying to break through the road surface, frightening the workers who were watching the spectacle. What was most unusual, however, was that the underground tremors did not damage the road surface or leave a single crack. At some point, the tremors stopped, and the road construction was eventually completed. Nevertheless, no one was able to determine what caused the mysterious shaking, a rare geological phenomenon or the awakening of an ancient underground creature. After a series of powerful tornadoes, residents of one American suburb witnessed an unusual atmospheric phenomenon. It looked as though the sky had turned into a scene from a movie about the end of the world. Heavy, bulging clouds of a strange appearance hung over the houses at an extremely low altitude and glowed ominously. Many were frightened by the sight, but there was no reason for concern, as they were witnessing a rare atmospheric phenomenon known as mammatus. It is characterized by a pouch-like cloud structure, with bases forming distinctive hanging lobes, most often clearly defined and sharply outlined. The color is typically gray-blue, but due to sunlight, the formations may appear golden, red, or pink. They sometimes occur on stratiform, cumulus, cirrus clouds, and even volcanic ash clouds. Mammatus clouds form during sharp temperature contrasts, when descending cold air collides with clouds formed by rising warm air. These shots were taken in South Korea. A man witnessed a strange sight in the sky. Above his head was a flat rectangular cloud with perfectly straight edges. From the side, it looked as though it had divided the sky into two equal parts. However, no one was able to determine the reasons for the appearance of such an unusual atmospheric phenomenon. These shots were taken at night in the Canadian city of Vancouver. In the sky above the surprised residents, a strange ring of light appeared, consisting of two colored parts. The outer contour of the ring was bright green, while the inner part had a deep blue hue. After a few seconds, the mysterious ring began to move across the sky along a circular trajectory, which seriously frightened the observers. It seemed to them that something ominous was about to happen. However, about a minute later, the strange phenomenon disappeared among the clouds, just as suddenly as it had appeared, and further attempts to understand what it really was led to no results. It is no secret that for many people, mountain landscapes inspire awe and admiration for the power of nature. However, these shots demonstrate how easy it can sometimes be to deceive our vision. In these images, a group of tourists stumbled upon what they believed to be a mountain cave in the middle of a forest. However, the space inside, from bottom to top, was filled with wooden structures. It turned out that the entire mountain, which from afar looked like a natural formation, was in fact completely man-made and supported by an artificial framework. These shots were taken on one of the beaches in Peru. In the middle of a clear sky, a solitary dense cloud was captured hovering over the water several kilometers from the shore. Everything seemed ordinary at first, but when dusk arrived, it didn't disappear. The cloud moved closer to the shore and descended as close to the water as possible. From the side, it might have seemed like a portal from which someone was about to emerge, but nothing of the sort happened, and the cloud itself vanished without a trace by the next morning. In 2019, one of the strangest weather phenomena in history occurred in Texas. In addition to heavy rain, local residents reported that soft, jelly-like clumps were falling from the sky. These were semi-transparent formations with a strange consistency. Upon thorough analysis, it was discovered that the unusual jelly contained a certain type of bacteria that is present in every human digestive system. However, where this mysterious jelly rain came from remains a mystery to this day. In the winter of 2025, a video filmed in one of the remote villages of India went viral online. The footage captured dense, fluffy clumps slowly falling from the sky, resembling cotton or thick fog. They settled on the ground, covering everything around as if with scraps of clouds. Local residents called this phenomenon cloudfall and claimed they had never seen anything like it before. The event took place in a mountainous area where temperature fluctuations are especially sharp. According to eyewitnesses, immediately after sunset the sky darkened, the temperature dropped sharply, and large pieces of white mass began descending from above. Some clumps settled directly on trees and houses, while others slowly dissolved like vapor. Witnesses claimed that the clouds seemed to breathe and emitted a faint hissing sound. When people approached closer, it felt as though a slight electrical charge was present in the air, similar to the feeling before a thunderstorm. Among the residents of the Indian province, the event caused a storm of emotions. Some saw it as a sign from above, while others believed it was a harbinger of global change. However, meteorological scientists eventually found a rational explanation for this phenomenon. They believe it was an extremely rare case of dense stratiform clouds rapidly descending. This happens when cold and warm air masses interact with each other. When the temperature near the ground suddenly drops and pressure changes, moist air loses stability, and the clouds literally collapse downward. The air becomes saturated with moisture, and fog-like masses reach ground level, resembling flakes or clumps of cotton. These shots were taken on the grounds of a factory. Workers were filling in a hole in the floor when something inexplicable happened. Each time a piece of the broken floor fell into the pit, a strange glow began to emanate from the darkness below. It created the impression that there was something ominous down there, and that it clearly did not like being disturbed. The flickering light below was uneven and seemed almost alive. When the footage was published online, many people thought that the workers had awakened an unknown ancient creature or opened a portal to another dimension. One way or another, no one has been able to give a clear explanation of what was happening in the video. These shots caused a wave of excitement online among fans of mystical and conspiracy theories. In the video, a man casually throws a stone into the water, which results in a mesmerizing optical effect. On the rocky surface near the body of water, wave-like circles began to spread. Despite the fact that this was clearly a reflection from the ripples on the water, some believe that the creators of the video had witnessed a real glitch in the fabric of reality. In 2025, a strange video appeared online. The author claimed it was filmed in Antarctica. However, instead of endless icy expanses, it showed a green plain with mysterious structures standing on it. The buildings did not resemble any known research station, and their appearance was more like residential huts. The video sparked heated debate online. Some insisted it could be proof of a secret society existing on the continent, while others doubted the authenticity of the footage and presented arguments debunking it. However, the question of the mysterious structures remains ambiguous since Antarctica has still not been fully explored. Harsh climatic conditions and the presence of a massive ice sheet do not allow for direct research methods, and only time will tell what other secrets may be hidden beneath the layers of ice. These shots were taken in southeastern Australia, in the state of New South Wales. They captured a massive metal object protruding from the ground, resembling a fragment of an alien spacecraft. However, the truth turned out to be far more down to earth. The piece of charred material did indeed belong to the SpaceX Crew 1 Dragon spacecraft. The 3-meter-long, durable object passed through Earth's atmosphere and landed in the middle of a sheep paddock near the town of Dalgety. Soon, SpaceX issued an official statement saying that the debris was an unpressurized trunk of the spacecraft, designed to carry unpressurized cargo into space and to support the Crew Dragon during launch. On the 14th of April 2025, for the first time in 62 years, an all-female crew was sent into space. 6 women took part in the flight aboard the New Shepard spacecraft, owned by Jeff Bezos' company, Blue Origin. Among them were singer Katy Perry and journalist Lauren Sanchez. However, the real controversy began after the landing. The footage shows that the hatch of the landing capsule opened from the inside even before Jeff Bezos approached it. Experts were puzzled. since according to regulations, this hatch can only be opened from the outside using a special tool to prevent the risk of depressurization. This, in turn, led many skeptics to believe that the entire mission was staged, from the launch and the behavior of the women inside the capsule to the landing itself. These unusual shots were filmed in March 2025 in the Mexican city of Guadalajara de Buga. They captured a mysterious metallic sphere flying over the city before crashing into high-voltage power lines. After the crash, the mysterious object was carefully examined. It was no more than 100 centimeters in diameter and weighed slightly less than 2 kilograms. Its surface was perfectly smooth, as if it had been processed with a special tool, and strange symbols and hieroglyphs were visible on its upper part, unlike any known language in the world. It was also surprising that the sphere reacted in a strange way to sound vibrations. For example, local residents admitted that when Sanskrit mantras were recited, the sphere vibrated as if responding to the rhythm. Some believe that the mysterious sphere represents a breakthrough in advanced technology, while others are skeptical and consider it nothing more than a well-designed art project created to generate hype. While walking along the shoreline, a group of friends witnessed a bright blue light. It seemed as though a dense, glowing stream was descending from the sky directly into the ocean. Its intensity was so powerful that it inspired thoughts of a supernatural origin. Remarkably, the light vanished beyond the horizon just as suddenly as it had appeared, leaving the witnesses in complete confusion and unable to determine the exact nature of its origin. And that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to rate it, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell. Your activity is the best reward for me. Thank you for your attention. See you soon. Bye.